Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins Gate 0. In the last episode, Rintaro Okabe spoke with Moeka Kiryu and confirmed his suspicions that she wasn't in fact the mystery assailant in the motorcycle gear, which rules out SERN being involved in this little matter as far as Kagari Shina is concerned. Of course, soon afterwards, Rintaro risked it all by coming to Tennouji and essentially breaking a self-made truce between Rintaro himself and with SERN. Because, believe it or not, we need information. We need to know just exactly what SERN have on these other mystery groups, as well as the any information they might have on the American and Russian forces in particular.
実はあなたに頼みたいことがある。
As incredible and incredulous as it sounds, if I'm using that terminology correct, I'm probably not. Long story short, if as hard as it is to believe, we actually do need your assistance. Tennouji silently waited for me to continue.
椎名かがりを昨べ狙われた女性を守ってやってほしい。
Something tells me that if we asked this of Tennouji before we revealed the fact that we knew he was a rounder for SERN, we might have gotten a different response, but yeah, then again, maybe it's better that we did all this in the way that we did it. That's exactly what we're looking to find out.
わかりません。
それじゃあ、そんな話は受けられねえな。
Well, no surprise there.
娘を巻き込みたくないからですか。
Of course, Tennouji might take that statement the wrong way.
だったら最初からそんな話すんじゃねえよ。
Unfortunately, it's far too late for that.
すでに一度巻き込まれているじゃないですか。昨日のようなことが今後ないとでも。
That may be a good point, but
人質にしてるつもりか。
I wouldn't necessarily say us.
殺すぞてめえ。
Then you'll be killing the wrong person. Stay calm. Lose it here and it's all over.
協力し合おうと言っているんですよ。
Because Rintaro's right. There is no reason to suspect that what happened last night won't happen again.
協力ね。
Consider it a temporary ceasefire of sorts between the Future Gadget Lab and
こ
SERN.
っちにデメリットしかねえじゃねえか。
Perhaps, but with SERN on the losing end of the coming conflict.
そんなことないよ。
Suzaha came into the store, along with...
すみません。
Well met, Kagari.
かがり。
And Tennouji says nothing, weighing his options.
鈴葉、話を聞いてたのか。
Looks like Suzuha and Tennouji's paths have once again converged, it seems. Suzuha nodded. I wonder whether or not Suzuha might take up her Alpha Worldline job as a part-time warrior after all.
例えば、私とかがりをバイトとしてここに置いてもらえれば、目を離さなくてもよくなる。
True, it was close to the lab and probably safer. He could protect them while protecting Nai. However, something tells me he's right to be
おめえらがこのビル
suspicious.
から出てく方が手っ取り早いな。そしたら俺やナイが巻き込まれることもなくなる。
Tennouji raises a good point.
あなたたち親子は昨日襲ってきた連中の顔を見ている。それが何を意味するかわからないわけじゃないはず。
If this new group is just as ruthless as the CERN Rounders were in the Alpha World line, then Tennouji knows all too well that he may have protected us, but that protection will come at a cost. There was a chance they might try to kill everyone who saw their faces, even though they technically were all wearing masks.
私は戦闘の経験がある。銃も扱える。あなたも昨日見てたはず。
But Suzuha is no slouch when it comes to military proficiency. And given her combat prowess in the Alpha World line, the Beta World line Suzuha could easily trounce these new assailants, let alone the group of rounders
だから
that are probably still in
それなりに役に
Akihabara
は立てる。
somewhere. Again, Tennouji has to decide what's in his best interest. One wrong move and it could spell the end. I don't envy him one bit. Tennouji rubbed his temples in thought for a moment, but
お父さん。
Nai, who'd been watching TV the whole time, suddenly interrupted.
私よくわかんないけど。
It's probably best that you don't.
昨日みたいなことは怖いからもう嫌だな。
ナイ。
Well, Tennouji, looks like the deciding vote has already been
お父さ
cast.
んが守ってくれてすごく嬉しかったけど、お父さんが私を守るために無茶して怪我するかもって想像したらもっと怖くなった。
Nai doesn't want to lose Tennouji any more than he wants to lose her.
鈴葉お姉ちゃんはすごく強いし、昨日も私のことかばってくれてたよ。
And, in a manner of speaking, Rintaro's olive branch actually provides a bit of a lifeline for Tennouji, in the sense that he wouldn't actually have to get involved in his occupation as a CERN rounder if Rintaro and the others offer to protect them in their place. Didn't I understand what we were saying? I don't think she knows all the details.
私はお姉ちゃんたちと一緒がいいな。
But she does know that Rintaro and Suzuha mean well and that they're actually trying to look after them. Tennouji scratched his head and then spoke brusquely.
言っとくが、バイト代は2人で1人分だからな。
渋いね。
That's Tennouji for you.
文句があるならいいんだぜ。
ありがとうございます、店長さん。お父さん。
Looks like that scenario went better than I thought. Nai gave her dad a hug. This was a good sign. If Tennouji was on our side, I could probably keep Kagari safe.
ありがとうございます。
別におめえのためじゃねえ。苗のためだ。
We know that much, but our compromise means that you can focus on protecting Nai while we focus on protecting Kagari. It's a win-win situation for everyone, and SERN doesn't have to get involved in the slightest. Nai was already happily chattering away at Kagari and Suzuha. As Tennouji watched, his eyes were those of a father again. Of course.
ま、こっちはそういうことにしてやっからよ。岡部、おめえは連中が何者なのか突き止めろ。
Once again, we'll have to do the hard-nosed investigating ourselves.
じゃねえ
It's
と
just how it is.
対策も打ちようがねえぞ。わかったな。
わかりました。
Indeed, it's not like Tennouji is rather high on the pecking order of the SERN hierarchy. It was one thing to say it, but honestly I had no clues at all. I turned to go up the stairs to the lab when Tennouji seemed to remember something.
そうだ。そういやあの連中、妙な番号を口走ってやがったな。
番号？
Well, it's a clue at least.
確か、そう、K6205 とかなんとか。
K6205. Sounds like a code name of some kind. Given the fact that these people were after Kagari, maybe it has something to do with her. K6205. Was it some kind of code?
しかも、5を5って発音してやがった。
They were pronouncing it Fife instead of Five. Yep, they were foreigners, alright.
どこかの訛りってことですか？
そうじゃねえ。フォネ
Phonetic code, eh? We'll just have to see about that. Phonetic code. A method of pronouncing letters used to avoid being misunderstood on wireless channels. In other words, these people were military. And once again I make the mistake of going back to the menu when I don't want to.
軍隊？
In other words, these aren't your roundabout ragtag military, or your ragtag bunch of mercenaries.
それも西側のな。
And that basically rules out Russia. Does that mean they're American?
あ、やっと来たにゃん、おかり。
I wonder, could that definitely mean that they are involved with Stratfor after all? But we're back in the lab with Ferris. Things are looking slightly cheerful. I came straight up to the lab, where most of the people who were here yesterday had gathered. Maho was busy with with the problem Amadeus was having, and she was the only one who couldn't come. I wonder if Stratfor deliberately preventing her from accessing Amadeus.
みんな大丈夫か？あんなことがあったばかりなのに集まって。
I think okay is putting it a little bit mildly. Well, it is a bit of an overstatement, I should say. I don't think anyone's okay at
あんな
all.
ことが起きた理由を聞きに来たんですよ。
Well, that's why we're here.
それに場所を移すよりも同じ場所の方が安全だって橋田さんが。
Well, I don't think those people would actually intend on attacking us during the daytime. Not with Tennouji around. They're not going to risk another failed assault.
昨日の今日で警戒してるところに来るバカはいないっしょ。それもこんな真っ昼間から。
Daru seems to have the exact same
バラ
idea.
バラでいるよりみんなでいる方が安心です。
Indeed. Maybe they were right. Whoever they were, it was hard to imagine them starting something in Akihabara, Japan in the middle of the day. That's the only advantage we've got. And Yuki's here
と
as
にか
well.
く皆さん無事でよかったです。
Yuki was the only one who wasn't involved in that
ユキ
situation.
さん、ありがとう。わざわざ来てくれて。私も昨日の夜話を聞いて心配だったから。
Yuki wasn't here during the attack, but she'd come to see how we were doing.
でも信じられないです。この日本でそんな恐ろしいことがあるなんて。
Well, you better believe it.
日本じゃなくてもあんな経験はなかなかできないよ。
Not every day, but it does happen. That was true. Nobody who lived a normal life would ever see it. That's what normal meant, after all.
岡部さんが来て早々で悪いんですが、私この後バイトがあって。
It's certainly no problem.
ああ、気にしないでくれ。
皆さんの顔が見れて安心しました。でもまだ油断は禁物なので気をつけてください。
危ない。
Uh-oh. Yuki almost slipped as she walked past me. I grabbed her arm to hold her up.
あ、悪い。
Probably gripped her a little too tightly there.
いえ、ちょうどここ昨日駅で転んで怪我しちゃって。
She rubbed the arm I'd grabbed, embarrassed.
その時も何もないところで転んじゃったんですよ。ほんとドジで嫌になっちゃいます。気をつけてね、ユキさん。ありがとう。それじゃあ皆さんもお気をつけて。
Well, we'll be seeing you. The door closed, and I could hear her footsteps trail off into the distance. 2 days of work in a row right after New Year's, huh? It's a bit of a pity, really.
どうしたん、オカリン。
いや。
The way she hurt her arm. It was the left arm. The same place the woman in the motorcycle suit had gotten hit. but there was no way. I think we're starting to get a little too
それ
paranoid,
じゃあ早
methinks.
速ですけど、オカリンさん、昨日のあの出来事について説明してもらっていいですか？
Well, at the very least, we should tell Kaide and Fubuki what was going on. Fubuki was a little more chipper than Mayuri and Ruka. She and Kaide had gone shopping, and so they'd missed the attack. That was probably why. They were lucky not to have encountered any of the escaping attackers.
そうだな。じゃあまず
It's a bit of a long story, but I hope you have time for it. Daru and I had spent hours discussing how much to tell them. After all, I couldn't just play it off like nothing had happened. That would be too suspicious. The only ones who knew about the time machine were Daru, Feiris, and Mayuri. And Suzuha, of course. But she's not here. She's with Kagari. Was it okay to tell Ruka, Fubuki, and Kaide? I think we'll probably be undermining Ruka's self-confidence if we didn't. And then there was Maho as well. She was also here when that happened. If she knew that Kurisu had completed the time machine theory, she'd definitely be interested. In the end, the conclusion I'd come up with was, well...
ということなんだ。
つまり、カガリさんは記憶を失っている間に何らかの犯罪に巻き込まれたかもしれないってこと？
Well, now that it's actually been spoken aloud, we can't really rule that out as a possibility. Given the fact that we still don't know what she was up to during those 12 years between 1998 and 2010. Or 2011 rather. So, she may yet have been involved with this group, after
おそらく
all.
な。
だったらどうして警察に言わないんですか？
Because we're not going to find any leads through
それは
them.
その彼女がひどく怯えるんだ。警察のことをね。もし
And
かした
even
ら
if they're
警察もその犯罪に関係しているのかもしれない。
even if they're not, we can't really rely on them.
なんかすっきりしないな。
Fubuki is having a few doubts about Rintaro's story, but of course it doesn't. I was basically telling them that I didn't know anything, which we don't. But even if I was hiding a lot of the truth, the fact remained that it was mostly correct.
昨日の一件でわかるのは、襲ってきた人たちの狙いはカガリさんだけで、僕たちに手を出すことはないだろうということですよね。
Indeed. I think unlike the Rounders attack on the Alpha World line, the people who held us hostage didn't really have any sort of instruction to shoot any potential witnesses. Not that we can rule that out as a possibility, after what we know, but they seem to have completely different objectives. And it also seems that SERN has completely different objectives as well, since they have no reason to suspect that anyone could possibly break into their echelon database, which I'm wondering if that's still a thing on this world line.
どうしてそう思うの？
Although, having said that, I wonder what CERN's plans are on the Beta world line.
あの状況なら、僕らのうち誰かを人質に取ることだってできたはずなんです。
Yeah, they could have.
それをしようとしなかったということは、あの人たちはあまりことを大きくしたくなかったんだと思います。
In other words, they didn't want to draw too much attention to themselves. Which I suppose made sense.
それについては俺と誰も同じ結論になった。
And given the fact that they didn't try to do the similar methods to the Rounders by having some sort of terrorist threat as a means of shutting down ways in and out of Akihabara, they wanted to keep this as low-key as
だか
possible.
ら俺たちさえおとなしくしていればきっと安全なはずだ。
Of course, as long as Kagari is out of their grasp, they will keep coming back for her. That was a lie. Just like Suza said earlier, there was a good chance they might come after us because we'd seen their faces. Once again, I must remind everyone that they were all wearing masks. But it wasn't smart to say that and worry everyone.
だから中瀬さんや来島さんはしばらくここに来ない方がいい。
Probably for the best.
でもかがりさんはどうするんですか？
Well, the best we can do is keep a close watch on
それは
her.
もう手は打ってやる。ボディーガードをつけた。
ボディーガードですか？
That would be Suzuha.
昨日あの連中を撃退した心強い二人をな。
Basically, she's under the protection of both Tennouji and Suzuha.
すずさんと店長さんだね。ああ、あのムキムキおじさん。
Indeed, and as long as Tennouji continues to cooperate with us, things should be not quite smooth sailing, but close. But if something happens and he is forced to rescind the alliance, we're basically on our own.
でもそれだとまたいつ襲われるかもしれないって怯え続けることに。
Unfortunately, Kaide, there is nothing we can do about that. I was right. Just playing defense wouldn't solve
こ
anything.
っちはこっちで探偵あたりを雇ってかがりが誰に狙われているのか調べるつもりだ。
Indeed, we'll certainly need to take the fight to the enemy
あ
at
る
some
程度情
point.
報が出揃ったら場合によっては警察に話す。
Only if it's necessary. Of course, more than half of that was lies again. If I went to the police or a detective, they wouldn't believe me about Kagari being a time traveler. But what was important now was calming everyone down. From there, I'd have to solve things myself. It's all we can do at this point. To be honest, I was sick of living in the middle of a conspiracy theory. We used to imagine them all the time as Ho and Kyoma. But it was the only way I could get my everyday life back. Of course, normality is out of our grasp, as usual.
で、オカリン聞いてるにゃ？
And it seems that Ferris is talking to somebody as we exit the Future Gadget Laboratory. I believe this is a good spot to end this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate 0, and when we return, adventurers, we'll see just what Ferris was talking about and with whom. As always, until next we meet.